Good morning, class. So today we learn about what is to be done during certain natural emergencies like the floods, earthquakes and the fire. Now let us take up floods first, and we'll do before. No sooner a flood is predicted, a warning should be issued for those living in the low-lying region, where that low-lying region is the river basin. Move to the highland areas above the predicted water level. So every river has a danger level. If it begins to flow, or if it is just even a couple of meters below the danger level, a warning is sent out to the people living in the area. Collect supplies of food, clean water, medicines, clothes and flashlights with extra batteries. Keep the hazardous and dangerous materials away. Now, what is to be done during the floods? Stay away from the flooded areas and move to a safer place. You might get trapped in the basement or above. The foundation might become weak of the building in which you are, and you will not be safe. Don't drive on the flooded roadways because there might be a landslide. The ground which is under the road might be weaker, and due to continuous erosion of water it will give away. Stay away from electric and power lines, as when the power poles or electric lines may break, they might electrocute the rest of the area as well. Shut off gas lines and power lines in your home. Do the same for the above reason. Now what should one do after the earthquake? Move to your home only after it is announced to be safe by the local government. See, they will send their experts to see whether the foundations of the building are safe or not for the people to return. Otherwise, see, there is continuous seepage of water, that much of water under the foundation. The building might become weak, the walls might have become weaker if the flood level was high, water level was high, and maybe it did not collapse, the building did not collapse earlier, but it may do so afterwards. Now avoid entering into a flooded building because something might break, fall and obstruct your escape route. Drink only boiled water. Why? Because then during that time, especially during a flood or after a flood, people are prone to catch waterborne diseases such as jaundice and cholera. Keep yourself safe from the possible outbreaks of waterborne diseases. Now, what should be done before an earthquake strikes? Learn safety measures to be taken at school and home during an earthquake. Remember, I was telling you about the mock drills that a country such as Japan, which is, every alternate day they feel a small or the other tremor. So they have continuous mock drills as to how to evacuate the building, and their buildings are built in such a way that even when there is a heavy earthquake or the tremor is quite strong, then also the buildings might sway, but they will not break because the architecture is such. Now, if you have seen the Japanese homes children, you will see that they do not prefer to have heavy furniture and all at home. They do not have beds and all. They sleep on the floor. So the buildings are also constructed with light material so that there is no harm. Even if the walls collapse and all, there will be no destruction to life. Learn how to perform first aid in case of emergencies. Now, keeping the heavy furniture such as cupboards well anchored to the wall, along with dangerous appliances, that they should be firm in place so that they do not fall during a strong tremor. Now, during an earthquake, staying calm during a situation of an earthquake is most important. No need to run helter and skelter, shout unnecessarily, because it will not help you to be safe at all. Take cover under a desk or a table and don't run. In case you do not have any, you are on top of a building and you don't have time to run out, and so the best thing to do is take shelter under a table so that even if the roof collapses or the fan breaks or some overhead fixtures break, then you will be safe. Take cover under a desk or a table and don't run. Stay away from the furniture like an almirah or a bookcase, which can fall upon you. If outdoor, move to an open place such as park or an open parking space. Do not stand under the trees or near power lines because they might break. A falling tree will harm you physically, and a broken power line, you will get electrocuted. Now, after an earthquake, stay away from the partially damaged buildings as they are weak and may fall anytime. And there is always a possibility of the after tremors. Now, this is when we were doing the case study about Nepal, the earthquake which shook Nepal in 2015, children. That time we learned that after the major earthquake, there were 100 more after tremors or aftershocks, because of which there was more harm to destruction of life and property than the actual one. Stay away from debris and don't move barefoot. Wherever debris are, they will be loose and they may begin to slide, and you might be again trapped under them or in them. Near the coastal region, stay away from the beach area as there is a possibility of tsunami hitting. Now, if the epicenter of the earthquake is somewhere near an ocean or a sea, children, then what happens? Then that the ocean bed or the sea bed also might be hit or might be affected, and then what will happen? There is a strong chance of a tsunami hitting the coastal area. I told you before, children, when a tsunami occurs, the first thing that you need to, after an earthquake, just to check whether there might be a tsunami or not, you observe that the water in the sea or the ocean will recede back towards the sea, and then it becomes a great wall because there is no further place for the water to recede, and it becomes a huge wall of water, and then it rushes towards the coast or the beach, and this is how it brings so much of destruction in its wake. Now, coming to fire. Install smoke detectors in homes and schools. Check them regularly. How to check them regularly, children? You can just put a little piece of paper on fire, and if you will bring it close to the detector, even a slight smoke it will detect, and then the alarm will go off, so you know that your alarm is working. So this needs to be done regularly. Now, we should know the fire escape plan well. So, see whether it is a fire or an earthquake. Whenever you go to a huge building, or even in schools, if you are going to a new place, see, you are very familiar with your school, but a child who has just joined today and is in case of a fire or an earthquake, maybe you will help them out, and if you do not, you are unable to help the new person out, then what do? They look for the markings which are written as exit over there. You have all buildings over the world, children, they have to follow these particular rules, that is the compliance of safety measurements in case of fire and earthquake and so on. So one has to follow the arrows. The word exit will be written over there in bold letters. In darkened corridors, they will be lighted. See, if you have gone to movie halls, then you must have seen that on above the doors you have exit, EXIT, written in red. If it is red, then that means you need to stay in the hall. When it turns green, then you can move out. So these exit signs are always well lighted, and the arrows are also there in case you are in a corridor and you need to go to the exit in case of fire. So where will it lead you to? Not to an elevator, but it will lead you to a staircase. We should know the fire escape plan well. Practice mock drills for evacuating the building during fire emergencies. So in all towns and cities all over the world, the fire department, they visit schools and other institutions and organizations on a regular basis to carry on mock drills, just to see how well prepared the authorities are to evacuate people in case of such emergencies. Now, during the fire, evacuate the place as soon as possible. Try to save yourself first. So if you can't save yourself first, then there is no point. You will not be able to help the other person. So both of you will sustain serious injuries or lose your life. Avoid using elevators in case of fire because machineries get stuck or might even break. Cover your nose and mouth, preferably with a wet cloth, to avoid inhaling smoke. See, a dry cloth will make it easier for the smoke to get into your nose and then onwards to your lungs, but a wet cloth will still give you some time to move out of that area. Now, after the fire, rush those who are injured or inhale smoke to the hospital. Don't try to enter in the building even after fire has been put out. Now, children, when the fire is being put out, such things are when there are professionals around, people who are trained to handle fires. It is better to act on their advice or to let them handle the emergency. But the thing is, children, if there is no help available and you need to rescue somebody from a closed room which is on fire, then be careful, because as soon as you will open the door to that room, the already burning fire will get more oxygen from the outside air and it will begin to burn terribly, and then you will have problem. So you might get third-degree burns over there, and then you will not be able to survive. So be very careful when entering a closed room which is already on fire. Now we will go to role of government during disasters. During the times of disaster, national, state and local governments have the responsibility of declaring emergencies, providing relief and carrying out rescue operations. They have the resources and monetary fund which are required during emergencies. These are some of the tasks undertaken by a government in case of a disaster. So these are the things that a government undertakes when there is any kind of emergencies. A government has the responsibility of providing warning in case of disasters which can be predicted beforehand, such as flood. Governments provide support for disaster relief and medical facilities and provide food, among other basic needs. It is the responsibility of governments to form disaster management committees. The members of these committees are trained for rescue and relief. So they know what is to be done in times of earthquake, fire or a flood. Now, National Disaster Management Authority of India, that is NDMA. The short form is NDMA. Created in 2005, and it is an apex body for disaster, supreme body for disaster management in India. The Indian government not only aims to tackle the impacts of natural and man-made disasters itself, but also involves non-governmental organizations. Again, the short form will be NGOs, along with the people's participation. A few functions of NDMA are as follows. So we'll quickly look at them. Forming policies for disaster management as to what will be done in case the people face such kind of a disaster or calamity. Laying down the guidelines to be followed by state governments in case of emergency. So again, children, all these are very deep topics which we'll have to take up later on. Taking measures for prevention and preparedness of disasters. That during all times, these agencies need to be prepared. It should not be that fine, this is monsoon time and there will hardly be any fires. So there should, I should be careless about checking whether there is enough water or in the fire trucks available, or the pipes are properly working, or the ladder which is supposed to go high up, is it working or not. So such things, children, need to be kept in mind. They need to be prepared at all times. The NDMA can also help other countries in case of disasters. For instance, Indian government provided rescue and relief support to Nepal during 2015 earthquake. Now with this, we come to the end of the chapter, natural disasters, natural and human-made disasters. I want you to go through all the major topics, give them a thorough reading 4 or 5 times. If there is something which you have not understood, please note it down and we'll discuss it once the school reopens. Now all the objective type questions, the video will be too long, children, and you will find it difficult to download. So I'll just show you the pictures. So you need to write it down, copy it down in your textbook, all the fill in the blanks, choose the correct answer, as well as you know that when a statement is false, you need to know why the statement is false. So please copy everything down what I have written over here. We'll meet in the next class. Till that time, stay safe and stay blessed.